Hi everyone. I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone who has commented and sent me messages regarding my ADHD diagnosis last week. It came as a bit of a shock actually, because I was always under the impression that I had bipolar disorder, and that's how the doctors were treating it, and I eventually got officially diagnosed with that when I was 20, and I'm now nearly 27, and suddenly, I think it was about 6 months ago or a year ago, my neurologist who deals with my epilepsy, she actually said to me, like randomly in the middle of our usual every 6 month routine appointment, she was like, "Have you ever been tested for ADHD?" And I was like, no, nobody's ever mentioned it, my nan, who used to take me to school and stuff while my parents were working, she always used to say, like, there's something not right with Karen's behaviour, because I used to get up in the middle of the lesson and walk around, and I talked a lot, and I could be really hyper, and I could also be quite moody. I think one of my oldest friends told me that apparently I locked myself in a bathroom for like 3 hours and refused to come out over like no reason, and then when I came out after kicking off for like 3 hours, I was absolutely fine, and I couldn't understand why everyone was concerned. So and like my thought processes and my memory, they're totally different. Like, I feel like there's confetti in my brain and it's all like floating around everywhere, and I'm trying to like grasp one thought out of all of these, and I just can't quite grab it. Like, that's the only way I can describe it. But I was always told, either there's nothing wrong with you, you're just weird, or you've got depression, or you've got bipolar disorder. And I've been on so many different like antidepressants and, bipolar related drugs, things like that, and none of them have really worked. I mean, they deal with obviously the depression side of things, because I have been known to get like a bit suicidal. I used to self-harm and stuff like that, but I'm in a pretty good place, like usually most of the time now, because like my life is I have a lot more stability in my life, and I don't know, I think I just learnt ways of coping with it by myself, because the doctors have never really helped me that much. But my neurologist was like, ADHD isn't just a kid's condition that someone's going to grow out of, and a lot of people misdiagnose it, or don't even notice that it's happening, because usually it affects boys rather than girls. So, it's slightly rarer, but it does happen, obviously. And also, a lot of people will kind of not really understand that ADHD isn't just about the hyperactivity side of it. It's also about like anger and mood swings and stuff like that. It can all be related. And anyway, my neurologist, who is amazing, she was trying really hard for like nearly a year, I think at least 6 months, nearly a year, I think closer to try and get me an assessment for it on the NHS. And there was going to be like a 2-year minimum waiting list. And bless her, she said, no, this isn't good enough. She's waited like getting on for 30 years now for like a proper diagnosis and treatment. This isn't good enough. And obviously she tried arguing with my old psychiatrist, who was like, no, you don't have it, and I didn't get on with her. I'm not going to name any names, but or go into too much detail, but she screwed me over so many times and stressed me out so much more than she needed to. Luckily, I'm not seeing her now. I'm basically discharged from psychiatric care, which isn't good because I do need it. I might look normal now, but I can have so many episodes, both up and down, and obviously something needs to be done about that. But I refuse to continue with a woman who doesn't believe me. She twists my words. She saw me for 20 minutes and thought that she knew everything about me, even though she'd barely even asked me any questions. She just made up her mind about me the second that I walked into the room, and I knew then that I wasn't going to get anywhere with her. And so anyway, digressed a little bit there. the neurologist arranged for me to have a assessment with a private doctor, and obviously I was panicking because I'm on a low income, you know, like I really struggle to afford everything, especially with ponies as well, you know. But I mean, if I didn't have a husband and a mum that helped me out from time to time, I really yeah, I wouldn't be able to manage. I'd be sleeping in the stable with the ponies because I'd literally rather be homeless than lose them. But anyway, the neurologist arranged it, and they got me like a government funded assessment, and I was super anxious about it. I had the restless leg syndrome and everything in the waiting room. My husband came with me, he was brilliant. I had to get like all my family medical history, right the way back to my great granddad, you know, like all the different psychiatric conditions that have been in my family. Sorry, that's an aeroplane if you can hear something. And obviously they got my medical history and my school reports, and my mum wrote them a letter detailing like how my behaviour's been all of my life, and my husband obviously told them as well, because he's seen how I can be, and I'm a bit of a nightmare at times, and he really worries about me. And it took about 2.5-3 hours, I think it was, we were in there in this really posh private hospital, and I felt really out of place, but I'm really glad I went, because the doctor is like apparently one of the leading ADHD experts or something, somebody told me. Not sure how true that is, but she was really nice, and she did the assessment, and she sent us out of the room for 10 minutes so we could have a break. And by the time I went back into the room, she said, yep, you've got ADHD, possibly bipolar as well, but we're going to have to look into that at a later date, because some things don't quite correlate 100% with ADHD. But she's like, yeah, 100% you have ADHD. And she gave me a prescription then and there to go and get a drug called Elvance, which is a lisdexamfetamine or something like that. And I'm only on 20 milligrams of it right now, which is considered like a kid's dose. And I tell you what, I've been on it for, when did I start it? I think I've been on it for like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 4 days, nearly 5 days now, I think. And oh my God, I noticed the difference even on day one. And now, I mean, I've lost my appetite, which is good because I'm fat. I need to lose weight. I can still eat, obviously, but I'm eating a lot less. I'm not even thinking about it, because I used to binge eat, especially when I was depressed. And then, obviously, I'm more motivated. I've still got the insomnia, but apparently that should settle down in time. But the difference is I had like 3 hours sleep the other night because my insomnia was really bad. And I woke up, and normally I would be like a zombie. I would be really like, I don't want to leave the house even. I'm really snappy with people. I'm really moody. I'm horrible. I'm not a morning person, you know. But I woke up and I got like straight out of bed 20 minutes after taking that pill. And I've been motivated, I've been doing stuff, I've not had to keep sitting down, because sometimes I just get so like, not physically tired, but like mentally exhausted, if that makes sense. But even though it's mental, it has like, it feels physical as well, you know. And I wasn't getting anything done, and I'm always procrastinating, and I can't get my thoughts in order. Everything's like a massive jumble in my head, and already I'm starting to think like I can focus on one thing at a time. I mean, it's not 100% perfect because I'm not up to the dose that I need to be on yet, probably, but obviously it's still kicking in, but one pill, and after all the other drugs that I've been on, like I could literally make a fortune if I sold all those drugs on the street. Honestly, I've been on that many drugs, like hundreds in my life, literally hundreds. And that is the only thing that has ever worked, or at least worked without any negative effects. It should also help with the epilepsy. Apparently it can decrease the frequency of the seizures as well. My speech is better, because sometimes I'm like blah 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 blah, you know, like I trip over my words when I'm talking too fast, and also things aren't pissing me off as much as they would normally. It takes like one thing and I snap, and I haven't been doing it. Like I was able to walk away from like a confrontation yesterday, which is really unheard of, because normally I would be straight in there, you know. I would like not let that slide, but I just walked away. I was the better person, and I was like, oh my God, you know, like for the first time in so long, and I feel refreshed, I feel awake. The only negative effect is that it makes me need to go to the loo a lot. Like yeah, my bladder is useless at the moment, but apparently that should improve. And also the other side effect is that when the pill wears off after like 14 hours, I think it is, suddenly I feel really tired, like I've been awake for 3 days, but the doctor said that should get better. And yeah, like finally, that's 2 doctors that have actually listened to me. They've actually believed me. They haven't just fobbed me off or told me that I'm wrong, because my argument's always been, how can I be wrong? I know how I feel, you know what I mean? And it winds me up so much. And I've met so many arsehole doctors in my time that either don't care or they try to put you in a box, and if you don't fit in that box, they just, you know, fob you off again. And I'm finally, that's 2 doctors now that have actually fought for me. I mean, they've fought hard for me, and they've offered me stuff like, you know, like the consultation and everything. They've gone out of their way to do something for me, which hopefully will change my life for the better. And I feel so happy about it. I'm so relieved. I'm still very angry that they never picked up on it when I was a kid, and that I never received the help that I should have got when I was a kid. They put it down to me being naughty or not paying, you know, just typical, like, you know, they didn't even look into the reasons why I was acting like how I was. And I wasn't that naughty at school. I couldn't concentrate, you know, like I'm pretty good at the subjects that I'm good at, that I enjoy, but maths, for example, I'm actually dyscalculate, which is like dyslexia but with numbers. And they used to be like, oh, she's just stupid, you know, she's thick, she can't do anything. And I'm like, well, why am I getting such high grades in English or literacy, and then I'm getting shit grades in maths? You know, like, surely you should see that there is a reason. I'm not just stupid, you know. Yeah, I just feel so clear-headed and refreshed, and I feel positive actually for the first time in a long time. And this is quite a sad time of year for me, because my nan and my dad both died this time of year, and I'm not really a Christmas person because of that, you know. And I've been through a lot the last few years especially. And I actually feel positive about next year. I mean, how long it's going to last, maybe this is, you know, just a fluke and it will go downhill again. But right now, I'm just trying to live life to the full. I'm trying to work on the anxiety side of things, and I'm really hoping that I can start moving on with my life, that I can get a job, we can hopefully buy a house at some point in the future, and just live our lives and not have to worry so much all the time. Yeah, so at the moment I'm feeling really positive, and if you've made it this far, thank you for listening. Yeah, so thank you to everyone who's messaged me. Like, so many people have got in touch with me about their own stories and like asking if I'm okay and how things are going, and I really am humbled by the amount of people that actually care. So yeah, this page was only really made just so that I could save and record all of mine and Ruby's journey and everything, and it's actually turned into something that people are enjoying, you know. Like, that wasn't the aim or anything, it was more for my own benefit or for friends and family. And now we've got like over 1,000 followers on Instagram, which is amazing, because for like the first 3 months we only had like 1 follower, and it wasn't, you know, it was just to record my pictures and memories, and so we could look back on it in years to come. And now it's actually, people are interested, you know, in me and my fat little old pony, you know, and I'm really overwhelmed by that. So yeah, thank you everyone, I really appreciate it. You know, I don't get paid for this or anything like that, I'm not sponsored by anyone. I do this 100% because I enjoy it, and you guys are awesome, so thank you. And yeah, here's to 2020, hopefully it'll be a better year. Yay!